Welcome to Connected Conversations. I am Elena Petrova, founder and CEO of Adastra Inc. Let's share the inspiring stories, strengthen our bonds, and pave the way for a brighter future, one conversation at a time.
Waiting for confidence to do the thing is a mistake. Confidence does not precede action. Action is what gives you the confidence. So do the thing, do it messy, do it cringe, do it unaesthetically pleasing, but do it and repeat it.
Welcome to Connected Conversations. We are back to our Dupont Circle studio, and I have Naowshaba Ferdous.
Yes.
Did I pronounce it right?
Yes.
So that's a beautiful name, Naowshaba. Thank you so much for driving all the way from Virginia to our studio.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. When I found out I was going to be doing this episode with you, I was really excited. So thank you for having me.
And so today we are going to be talking about authentic voice, building community, communication with the authentic voice. So refreshing into me, really so refreshing into me, because you've built incredible community online.
Yeah.
When I watch influencers on Instagram, there are so many conversations that, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you can move the light, you need to do the algorithm changes this way, and that's how you're going to be getting 100 million views and all this good stuff. I'm not saying that you should not know that.
Right.
You absolutely should. At the same time, to me, human connection is between humans. Again, don't get me wrong, social media is important and algorithm is important, and lighting and audio. We are sitting in the studio here
Yes.
and we have a lot of lighting here.
Yeah.
All those things are important. What is also important is knowing yourself, knowing who you are, knowing your authentic voice, connecting with your audience, knowing who your audience is. And when I saw you, I'm like, okay, this is what we need to talk about, and I'm so glad that you came here today. So please tell us about your background, because I saw your podcast with your sister. You guys talk about coming. Well, you were born in U.S., but your family came from Bangladesh in the 80s. You talk about your dad. So I thought it was a beautiful story.
Thank you so much, Elena. I honestly, I feel so honored to be here and to be able to speak with you on this subject. I do think it's very important. And on the subject of algorithms and all the aesthetics and a beautifully curated feed, I agree, like that is super important. And, we are visual creatures, especially online. We are, wanting to see a beautifully curated feed, but ultimately what matters more than that is someone being able to come to your feed and know exactly what it is you do, who you help, and if you are relevant to them. Can they relate to you? I think that always trumps the aesthetics. So for those who don't know me, my name is Naowshaba Ferdous, and yes, I'm a business strategist from Washington, D.C., in our beautiful nation's capital. And I work with entrepreneurs all the way from startup level all the way up to 8-figure brands, helping them master their messaging and their sales and their marketing with a very behavioral psychology focused lens. I'm a big believer that if you understand how people think and feel, then you ultimately know how they act. And when you know how they act, you know how to connect with them. And that's what leads to conversions. So yeah, super happy to be here.
Yes. So from founder to strategist, your personal story, how did it help you?
Yeah. So my story, I think, is a little funny and interesting, where I, being a child of immigrants and my parents wanted me to have the conventional path of doctor, lawyer, engineer, very common in South Asian households, because it is predictable income and it is safer, and they just want the best for us. So I did go to school in that pre-law path, thinking that is exactly what I was going to do. And I enjoyed my political science classes, and I do enjoy law, but I was dabbling in freelance business work while I was in college. It was it was a great way for me to spend the weekends. I would come home every weekend and be doing some sort of a gig, whether it be copywriting, business strategy, creative direction, a little bit of branding support. and realizing that I'm much more enjoying working with companies behind the scenes and helping them build a vision and connect with their customers, and quickly realized that had nothing to do with law. But at the same time, Elena, I didn't know that I could turn that into a career. I thought for sure that is just something you do on the side. Those are some fun talents that maybe you're good at, but it would never be a business. Until I was in communities online filled with other entrepreneurs talking about how they work from home using the talents they have, whether it's copywriting, health, fitness, relationships, making money. And they were making a full-time income from it all over the world. And that inspired me to think, okay, well, what do I have to lose? So I graduated a year early from college, and I was like, yep, getting to work. I'm gonna work whatever job I got to do, and did a little bit of retail here and there until I built my business. And that's what I get to do full-time today. So I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, that's so inspiring to me because, first of all, lawyers. Nothing against my friends lawyers. Statistically, so this is the profession where the depression is the highest.
Yes.
Yeah, if you take a look at how much lawyers go to the end, and then they have to get stuck because, okay, I have this law school, all those bills that I have to pay, or because it's a family legacy. You broke that.
Yeah.
You decided to go the way that where the happiness is, and where your heart is, I suppose.
My parents didn't initially. It was funny because my dad, when he came to America, his dream was to be a lawyer. He was involved in student politics in Bangladesh. He's very talented, very smart guy. Maybe he isn't always able to perfectly articulate himself in English, but I have seen him speak in Bengali at some of his events that he has done here, and I was blown away. I was like, it was almost like watching a completely different person. Is why when you reached out to me, I really felt so honored, because I think that it is not just accessibility and understanding when we are able to speak with someone in their language, or at least understand it. It is almost giving someone a chance to feel understood and safe. And so when I get to see him like shine in that light, it's it makes me very proud. And so when I had to tell him that that's not the path I'm taking, he was a little shocked when I told him that I found another entrepreneur on the internet, similar to what I do today, and she can help me start a business, and I just paid her X amount of money. He was like, that sounds really weird and really sketchy, but I am so grateful that I had parents who trusted my vision, which maybe is not always common with maybe immigrant parents. They, like I said, they want you to go that conventional path, but mine just trusted that I was doing the right thing, and they're very happy today. Very proud of me today.
So tell me about the community that you built. It's a big community. What are the latest numbers?
I think we are almost at 32,000 women worldwide. So any day now we should be hitting 32,000. So my community online is called Thriving Female Entrepreneurs. And that word is very personal to me, thrive, and maybe we can get into that later. But that word I chose because I didn't want people to feel like they were just thriving, or I didn't want people to feel like they were just surviving in business and getting by. I really wanted people to feel like they were thriving, creating a life that they're really proud of. And so I felt that word was very fitting. And today the community has women all over the world. There are entrepreneurs from literally every stretch of the planet, and doing all sorts of things. We have moms, we have people who are young, old, every ethnicity and every industry, every niche. Some have brick and mortar businesses, some have online businesses. And something I like to brag about, Elena.
Please brag. Please brag. You should be proud of it. And I love the fact that you were so precise about wording, because messaging matters.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So there are, of course, a lot of these communities on Facebook now. But the thing I'm really proud of is how kind the community is. There is a lot of negativity online. I think we can't possibly open our phones and scroll social media without seeing some form of negativity. But truly, in my group, if anyone listening today ever wants to join, they're more than welcome. And you will find that everyone is willing to help you, answer your questions. You never feel stupid to ask a question. People are constantly hiring each other, asking for recommendations. There was just so much positivity there. And that's what we need when we're running a business. It can already be kind of lonely and sometimes depressing and very scary. So I'm really proud that it's a community filled with genuinely nice people. So, yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you right now because I am a business owner, and you just describe it so on point.
Yeah.
It can be lonely, it can be scary, it can be stressful. Sometimes you get anxiety, you can get this level of uncertainty about what's going to happen tomorrow. So having this community and support that you are building, you can't replace it with anything.
Yeah, and it's completely free. It's always going to be free. There's plenty of things that you can pay for, and those, of course, have their place. Especially if you're trying to scale your business, you might need some one-on-one support. It's where my career comes in. But to have people who are your peers and can hopefully be your friends, and someone who is willing to support you with potentially no gain, I think is kind of rare in the business building community, because everyone wants to be paid. Understandable. We all have to keep a roof over our heads, but just to be able to have a community where I am told by a lot of members that the first thing they check on their phone is my group. And I feel so honored that people say that, because I think usually the first thing I check is like my text messages and emails. But for people to say that is like, I can't wait to see what's in there, what was posted today, that makes me feel really honored. And I don't take that responsibility lightly.
So tell me more about the messaging online that builds trust and authentic voice versus, again, optimization and algorithm.
Yeah. So I think the good thing about optimization and systems is that it has made it easier for us to be able to appear polished and to be able to build a business maybe with limited tools. I like to say that today in 2026, it's the noisiest online business space we have ever seen. There are more entrepreneurs popping up every single day. And those systems, those optimization tools do make it easier, which I love. But that doesn't necessarily mean that someone's connecting to you. They give you a lot of visibility tools, but they don't necessarily allow someone to trust you or feel like this is someone they want to tune into. This is someone they actually actively want to follow. And so I think to focus entirely too much on the aesthetics and too much on making sure you have all the logistics, all the systems, that you look perfect and behind the scenes everything is orderly. Focusing on that too much is a detractor from what's most important, which, like you said, is trust and connection. I think in the age of AI, it's absolutely everywhere. It's unavoidable. I think what people are craving now more than ever is, how can I trust this person? How can I, when I pop onto their social media page, or I'm watching their podcast, or I'm on their email list, do I feel like this person gets me? And so I think what I always tell my clients is, your content is not about you. It's about your audience. Of course, you're going to share your own stories and your background and your life, and you should, but you must always keep in mind the person who's consuming it. And so what I will remind my clients is that anytime you're sharing a story, or even back up for a second, deciding what your messaging is, ask yourself, how is it relevant to the person who is going to consume it? If it's all about me, then you've created an online presence that really only serves your ego, but doesn't actually convert. And I think for me, if a conversion isn't coming from a place of connection, I probably don't want it. Because I love being close to my clients. I want to make sure that they know me and I know them, and that we have genuine trust and comfortability first before we work together. So
what I hear you saying, if you want to be connected, build that connection first.
Yeah.
And do not put yourself first. That's thinking about your audience.
Yeah. It always has to be that way. Our businesses are not built to serve our ego and maybe even the things that we like. It's to solve a problem for our people. Ideally, you also enjoy it. But
Right.
That's the way I see it. And I think that has worked really well for me and my clients, putting the person we are trying to serve first.
So how do you know whether you're connected or not?
To your audience member.
Right.
I think that depends on the quality of the way that first, I would say the way that your content is being received, and two, the quality of the conversations you're having once you've gotten to that sales step. So the first piece of, how are people receiving your content? I think it can be very easy for people to say, okay, I worked really hard on this content, got the aesthetics, made it really beautiful, I put it out, and I got crickets. It can be easy to throw a pity party and feel horrible. It's really just data. Obviously, it didn't resonate with your audience. Either they didn't understand what you do, so that's a lack of clarity, and that's an entirely different issue, or they just didn't feel connected to you. Recently, I like to tell my clients, look at the last few accounts you have followed. Why did you follow them? It was probably not for aesthetics. It wasn't because they looked polished or looked a certain way. It was because you felt like they understood you. So me personally, an account I just recently followed was like a silly, funny account, but very much on psychology and neurodivergence. And I followed it because I'm neurodivergent. And I felt that the way he combined humor and facts around neurodivergence were so interesting. And so you have to see, are your people actually connecting to your content in a way that, are they saving it? Are they sharing it? Are they, commenting and feeling like, wow, this is 100% me? Are they feeling related to? So that is a great way to get the feedback on how your people are connecting with your content. And the second is the quality of your sales conversations. Are they feeling forced? Are they feeling rather more so? I said conversation specifically because I don't think it's a negotiation or some who speaks first is the one who loses. That's the sales advice you hear. A sales call or negotiation to really be a conversation. And so the quality of the conversation is based on how someone has felt connected to you before they've met you. So how they saw you online.
Yeah. Interesting. Sometimes we look for those likes, reposts, and all these positive comments. Now, would you consider negative comments positive attention?
That's a good question. So, something that I learned not that long ago, maybe a year ago, that really stuck with me is that the quality of your hater matters.
Yeah.
And so as someone who is quite bold, and my entire life have sometimes people either really, really love me or they're like, I'm not so sure about her, because I am very authentically myself.
And that's why I was going with that, because I think that when you really have an authentic voice,
yeah, that can bother people sometimes.
Yes.
Because when I'm being that way, I truly can't be anything besides that. I have tried. I wrote about this in my book that I'm releasing this year. I said I tried to make myself more palatable and water myself down. I couldn't. And so when I was just myself, that either does one of two things. It inspires people to also lower their guards, which is why a lot of times when my clients sign with me, they're like, I just love the way you're online. I just love that you seem real. And that didn't even have anything to do with my my testimonials or anything or case studies. They're like, I just like your vibe. And I'm like, I appreciate that. And otherwise, it can also do something else where someone sees you being so you and they're like, and they have inner resentment that they, for some reason, feel like they can't do the same. And I want everyone to know that who you are online, you are safe to be online who you are also in person. And that's okay. It's going to repel the wrong people and it's going to attract the right people, but the quality of your hater matters. So if the person giving you this negative comment or feedback is not someone whose life you would trade with or someone you look up to, don't worry about it. Something I've had to learn, and certainly easier said than done. But someone more successful than you, I like to say, Elena, is usually never hating on you.
Yeah, so. I was going to say that. And in general, you know what, if everybody likes you, to me it's a red flag.
Right.
It's like you're doing something wrong. What's going on? Like,
well, because then you stand for nothing, right?
Right.
So there's that saying, I'm sure maybe you've heard of it, Elena, like if you stand for everything, then you stand for nothing. And I agree with that. I think online, it's so tempting for us to get those likes and for us to get that validation. I totally get that. We're human. Biologically, we want to belong to a community. But in doing that, I think that you become a faceless brand. And so we see this with a lot of celebrities and a lot of maybe even influencers who didn't quite rise as well as others. And it's because they're just blah. They're just bland. They're palatable and they're good enough, but they're not polarizing. So something I'll always tell my clients is, don't be afraid to be polarizing. Don't be afraid to create content that shares how you really feel and how you really think. And truthfully, the more you rise, this is something that I've had to realize as my community has grown and my audience has grown, the more you rise and the more popular you get, yes, the more haters you have. So look at the comment section of any entrepreneur or celebrity you follow. There are horrible things said about them, just as much as the good things. So it's normalizing that is going to help you be successful, I think.
Yeah, that's a great response. I think you've put it in a very smooth way to look at it, because there are so many people who are constantly worried about how do I look online? How do I look online? What I loved about your content that I was looking at, that you look online the way that I'm seeing you right now. When I was looking at your podcast with your sister, you guys were sitting on the sofa in a very casual clothes, talking about the way that I would assume that probably would be your Friday night conversation.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine. That's probably how your family looks like on Friday afternoon.
We don't look quite as cute or as polished as that. Maybe not the hair and makeup, but definitely the quality of the conversations. I'm so blessed that the small circle of people in my life, including my two sisters, but also my friends, are people who on a Friday night around some good food that I have cooked for them, we are actually having conversations like that. So I'm hoping to get some of my friends as well on my podcast too, because I'm always in awe after the conversations we have. I'm like, this, if someone filmed this right now, guys, this would have gone viral. This is so good. So I feel very blessed that those are the types of quality people I have in my life.
Yeah. So it might become tricky. So, and I'm curious how you look at it, to become authentic, to be authentic and true to yourself, and yet to exercise, to be open-minded, to hear other communities, right? Because sometimes what happens to us is we sometimes close down on our own voice, on our own perception, on our own point of view, that we start project that on other communities and sometimes on our audience. So like we want to have that middle ground of staying true to yourself, yet being open-minded to what is happening outside of your bubble, your world, right? How do you do that?
Well, I love that question so much. I think truly one of the highest forms of emotional intelligence, not necessarily traditional intelligence, but emotional intelligence, is being able to step outside of yourself and not feel threatened if the viewpoint from someone else is totally different than your own. I think what makes someone smart and charismatic and also interesting to speak with is someone who understands that the way you think, feel, and act is just based on the way that your life has shaped up to be what it is today. Your background, your upbringing, all the experiences you've had, those unique points are what make you you. So it's not that you're necessarily right. It's just this is who you've come to be. So if you can view another human the exact same way, I think you're actually exercising the highest form of empathy, not just being a nice lending ear if someone is sad and you say, oh, I understand where you're coming from. No, but really putting yourself in their shoes, in their life perspective, and thinking, okay, they probably think this way because of, that other thing they told me about the way they grew up, or they used to be in this career, so that's probably why they're going through this particular challenge. So you sort of remove the judgments and I think even the haughtiness that I'm right and this is the one way to live life, and just realize that we're all living our life for the first time and none of us have it figured out. We're all trying our best, especially when it's business. There is a quote in one of my favorite books called 0 to 1. I don't know if you've read it, but it's an amazing one about business and startups and creating something from nothing. And he says that all businesses fail for the same reasons, but there are so many ways that a business can succeed. So when I see someone doing something a different way, whether it's business or in their personal life, it doesn't offend me, it doesn't upset me, and it doesn't shake my confidence in what I believe. I can appreciate the difference. And even in my own friend group that I was just mentioning a second ago, we have so many different viewpoints and life experiences, and that makes our interactions so much richer. So that's how I would say how you would deal with it, but still being true to you.
Yeah. Celebrating being different is not the point in life.
Yeah. It makes it more interesting.
Right.
If we were all the same, well, it's kind of like what we were saying about content earlier, is that if you just are super palatable and everybody likes you, you're probably kind of boring.
Yeah.
You know? So, and again, those are not the businesses that rise. The businesses that rise, the brands, the influencers, the celebrities that rise are the ones who take a stand against what they are not for and are adamantly clear about what they do care about. And sometimes that's going to piss people off.
And that comes with risk. I was going to say that you take a risk to be different.
Yeah.
And that sometimes you're going to be liked. Sometimes you're going to be hated.
Yeah.
But most of the time, you're going to be liked by the right people.
Yes. And that's all that matters. And also, if you have the confidence and love yourself and are comfortable with you and living an authentic life, that's also what matters above everything else, because you can't control anyone else around you. And your perception online, that's completely out of your control. So just be you, and that's really all you can do.
And that leads me to the question that all you can do. So you said that you're publishing the book this year.
Yes.
What is that about?
I'm super excited. It's my first book. I'm between titles, so I can't necessarily say what the title is, but it's basically the premise of the book is how to use your mind to create predictable success. And essentially what I talk about throughout the chapters in the book, and it's geared towards really anyone. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, but it's especially helpful for entrepreneurs, is for them to understand there are certain mindset principles that you can live by, even if you don't have them today, even if you are feeling imposter syndrome or all the things. There are actions you can take today to turn things around, because when you change the way you think, your behavior changes. When your behavior changes, your actions change, and those compounded actions create a certain result that you want, whatever that result is. In business, making more money, working with clients you love. And so the book is all about creating predictable success. I think today, especially with everything that's going on, a huge concern for people is that their income is going up and down, right? They're feeling like their income isn't predictable. And so I feel like when I started writing this last year, I didn't anticipate how relevant that topic would be today, but I'm very excited to drop it, because there are some really golden nuggets in there. I've shared it with a couple friends, and they were like, yep, I'm buying this book. Like, I'm going to give you a free one. But, I wanted to write it because I wanted people all over the world to realize that no matter where you came from or what you're currently thinking, you can change the trajectory of your life and your business if you choose to think differently. It's not going to be easy. It's actually going to be very difficult. But the more you decide to change those thoughts and use it to influence your behavior, the more you can create the results the more easily you can create the results you want.
Yeah, and that's so interesting that I think this is so time today. I'm repeating this phrase, what you think you become, right? That it all starts here, then goes into your communication, talking about communication, your actions, your perception of the world, the people that you're around. How did you... So I don't want to tell us, maybe not the whole book, because you probably want to keep it until you start doing your book tour and introductions. Maybe just a little bit tease about how did you come up to this. We understand that it's so relevant right now, but you started it last year.
Yeah, I did.
So what led you to this concept?
No, I love that. So yeah, even though it's relevant this year, I did start it last year. The reason why is because over the last 6 years, Elena, working with my clients and even just meeting people, meeting peers and others in business, I'm realizing that I've realized there's one common theme in what determines someone's success, and it is the way they think. There is a certain it factor that successful entrepreneurs have that those who do average don't. And it is a willingness to think, consistently think different and to pattern interrupt your thoughts. It's normal to have the fears of, okay, I don't think I'm ready for this, or I don't know, I'm not experienced enough, or what if they say no? Those are all normal. I can tell you right now, I have 8-figure clients who have very expensive 6-figure offers who still think the same way when they get up on stage. So it's not that they don't have those fears, it's that they learned how to deal with it differently. So the reason I created that is because I have more books in the works, which are around messaging and marketing, but I had to create that book as step 0. Because I always love to say, before you are going headfirst into this crazy world of entrepreneurship, you will be so challenged about the way you think and the way you have always lived your life. And so be ready for that. And I think a mindset book like the one I'm creating allows someone to almost prep themselves for what is to come in business. So there are common themes I've seen over the last 6 years that have gotten in the way of people, not able to achieve something or not able to achieve it as easily. And so I wanted to compile every mindset challenge I have heard from clients and peers over the last 6 years and put it into one book, so you can almost use it as your mindset Bible before you start a business and while you're building a successful business. And I know it's going to be something folks will be able to refer back to a lot, and I'm really excited about it.
So what I'm hearing you're saying is that staying positive.
Yeah.
And again, I'm looking forward to get your book when it comes out. I totally agree with you. It's staying positive and this sort of I can do attitude in business means a lot.
Yes.
It's like almost like being obsessed with the idea I will get it done.
Oh,
I will get it done no matter what.
Yes.
That will take you there. And again, staying positive, because there is so much research on the people who are positive and people who are negative. People who are positive, they will find that opportunity.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Absolutely. A part of something I share in my podcast episode is that the difference between people who make it in business and those who maybe quit after the first few years is that the ones who make it go into every opportunity, Elena, believing it's going to work for me. So you're essentially thinking like a winner. When you're thinking like a winner, suddenly everything works for you. The way that your posture is in the room, the way you speak to people about what you do, the way you feel confident to name your prices and to tell someone, I can help you. And here's how I help. That confidence shines through in a much different way when you already expect to succeed. When you are, so it's almost, it's beyond positivity. I like to call it delusional. I was recently published in a publication where I think the article I named it, it's time to be delusional, because you actually have to have this delusional positivity about what you do and the fact that it's going to change people's lives. If you're not at that belief level yet, there's still some mindset work you have to do, and that's okay. But yeah, so that's what I would say.
That's wow. It's a good way to get motivated.
Yeah.
On Friday afternoon, let's go and get it done.
Yeah.
And if you would give us maybe a couple of steps to get to that point for those who are not there yet, where to start?
I would say the number one thing that you can do is understand that the confidence you're waiting for is never going to show up until you actually do the thing. You're never really going to be super confident the first few times you do something. I mean, when I put out my first sales post or went live for the first time or posted in my community for the first time, of course I was very nervous. And I remember until first 10,000 members, believe it or not, that's when I was like, okay, I think I'm doing something cool. I really just didn't, I still always felt like, I don't know what I'm doing. That's normal. So waiting for confidence to do the thing is a mistake. Confidence does not precede action. Action is what gives you the confidence. So do the thing, do it messy, do it cringe, do it unaesthetically pleasing, but do it and repeat it. Let those actions compound. Not only will you get that amazing feedback from your clients, like I was mentioning earlier, it's also information, what they like, what they don't like, but you'll feel better. You'll feel that competence that you're looking for once you do the thing. And so, yeah, that's what I would say. For you to feel like a winner and think like a winner, the first step is do it. Stop sitting on it. Stop waiting to feel ready. Just do it. I know that's literally Nike's
That's very
slogan.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just do
that's just confidence comes from doing and repeating, reflecting, repeating, doing.
That's it. It's not sexy, and that's okay. It doesn't it doesn't have to be. It'll be sexy when you start making money and you're like, well, this is really nice. I can create the life that I have always dreamed of, and I can help support the people around me that I care about. So in a way, it's almost like a duty. If you truly believe, Elena, that you have something that's going to change the world and change people's lives, it is selfish of you to not take action. It is selfish of you to sit there and overthink your content. It's selfish of you to not launch your website or to launch your podcast. If you know what you're doing is going to help people, stop thinking about yourself.
You convince me. You convince me.
Yeah, I mean, goodness, what you're doing is incredible. So this is why opportunities like this, conversations like this are so important, so that more people understand what you're doing and the importance of it. So,
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It was a incredible conversation. I really enjoyed talking to you. And you do have this really fresh, positive energy that really brings me back to the fact that now I want to do this, I want to do that. I have something in the back burner there that I'm going to bring starting next week. Seriously, I really do. I enjoy talking to you.
Thank you.
And where can we find your community?
Yeah, so my community is called Thriving Female Entrepreneurs. You can find it on Facebook. I'll make sure that your team has all the links. And to find me, just with my name, www.naowshaba.com. I respond to almost everybody that messages. It's actually me, so that can be hard sometimes, but I love connecting with people and answering questions. I don't believe in gatekeeping. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram. It's the main places that I am. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for joining Connected Conversations today. Very motivational. Please join this incredible community. I definitely going to be part of it. And please, as usual, I'm going to be asking you to give us a boost in social media, because that's how Adastra community is growing. I'm not doing it by myself. I have the whole team in 20 different countries, and we absolutely appreciate and thank you for your support with Connected Conversations. I will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in into Connected Conversation. We truly value your feedback and would love to hear from you. Please let us know what story you would like to hear next. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Let's keep the conversation going, and let's continue to inspire each other. Let's stay in touch. Thank you.